which reminds me of the age of Draco talk. Did anyone else get stuck in Draco talk? Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and today we are going to be doing a little tour of my book journal. Now my camera is dying, so I'm going to keep this intro short, but this is my book journal. It's nothing special. I literally just wrote on a notebook paper book journal and taped it on there. It's a regular like lectern or whatever that is notebook. And I started this book journal in maybe the end of 2022. I'm not sure exactly. But I'm gonna give you a little tour of how I track all of my books. The reason that I started a book journal is because I was reading so many books, and then I would have people in my life like ask me what I was reading, what it was about, how was it? And I'm just like, I know I read that book, but I don't remember anything about it. So I decided to start writing down my thoughts and writing down my favorite quotes for each book that I read. And I definitely fell off of it because these are all the books that we have to update my book journal for, plus some on my Kindle. So we're gonna have a lot of work to do today. It'll be hours for me, but minutes for you guys. So I am going to first take you through a tour of my book journal, and then we're gonna get going with how I input all of my book summaries and book quotes in a way that I can remember and just sort of memorialize the books that I read. I'm probably gonna take you to my desk to do the actual writing part of it. But for right now, when you open my book journal, you see I did have like some other notes here, but this is the start of the actual book journal. So this is actually where the book journal starts, and then it goes into this pretty picture I have and this quote that I love. It's by George R.R. Martin. It says, "A reader lives 1,000 lives before he dies. The one who never reads only lives one." And then you're going into the to be read section, where again, I have not updated this, but I did read this book. So I'm gonna update that. And then to be read continued. Another quote I love: "I live in books more than I live anywhere else." That's by Neil Gaiman. And I just am sticking with this paper bag, black and gold type theme. So this is the first page. It's just a piece of ripped paper bag, and it says books I've read. And then over here, which again I have not updated in a very long time, but these are the books that I read and my ratings, and so that's another thing we have to update. When we start writing the summaries, I am going to cover them up, and I'm going to show you guys the quotes page and not the summaries page, just because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. So then turning to the next page, I'm going to cover up the Midnight Library summary, but I started off my book journal with a summary of the Midnight Library because I figured that would be pretty fitting. I mean, I'm going to go through all of my library in here. So I started off with a summary of the Midnight Library. I gave it 5 stars, as you see. On the next page, it says, "Welcome to my library." Again, I just used like a gold Sharpie and a black Sharpie and then a ripped paper bag to make a little effect. That's the vibe we're going for. And then we go in to each book. I'll give you a little peek of what each book spread looks like. So this is one for Malibu Rising. I'll write the title up there along with my rating, the author, and the dates that took me to read it. And then this is the quotes page. And then on this next page, I write the summary. Again, I'm covering it up because I don't want to spoil anything for anyone. But that is basically what each book spread is gonna look like. I really wanted to get my first reactions after finishing reading a book. So sometimes I would type up something and then I would print it out, and that would be my summary if I just didn't have my book journal on me. So it seems like we're gonna start with the inheritance games. I did my summary over here, but we're gonna go through all the quotes that I tagged in the book and write them in a pretty format here. And then this was my summary. And then moving into the more recent books, I gave a color to each book spread that matched the color of the book cover. So yeah, we're just gonna do some journaling and some reviewing some of the books that I read recently. So let's head over to my desk. So here we are at my desk. I've never recorded from like this angle before, so you have to let me know if it works or if it doesn't work. We're gonna start with The Heart of the Raven Prince, which is a book that I actually read on my Kindle, so it's a lot easier on the Kindle. And I'll go into notes and highlights. And then it just tells me all of my notes that I've highlighted throughout the book. So I would usually just go through these, decide which ones I want to highlight and which ones I don't really care about. I like this first one. This one was said a lot in the book. Always be wild, promise me. So that's gonna be the one that we're gonna highlight. And I just use Crayola Super Tips. I'll use those, and then I'll use a black Sharpie or a gold Sharpie or something like that. But I am gonna use this one. I think it's a little bit lighter than the one I originally did, but that's what I'm gonna do. So that is going to be our highlighted quote, and then I'm just gonna go through and sort of fill in the other quotes I like. So that's our finished quote page for Heart of the Raven Prince. As you can see, I usually go between small font and big font, script and printing, and I usually do some sort of symbol in between that matches the overall color I chose to just separate the quotes. So yeah, and then what I usually do is I'll write the author, and then I will write the rating I gave it, which I'm pretty sure if I go back to my Goodreads, I gave this book 3 stars, and it took me forever to read it because I think I talked about it in one of my wrap-ups, but it was dragged out when it did not have to be. So it took me like a full month to finish reading this. Of course, I was reading books in between, but yeah. So that is how the quote spread usually looks. So I had to get my coffee for this, but now we're gonna move into the Inheritance Games quotes. This is a physical book that I have, so I tagged all of my quotes that I liked. So it's not as easy as the Kindle, but I'll go through each of these tabs and see which quotes I want to write. But I do specifically remember that there was this one quote that I'm like, yes, that is the one that I am going to put down. Okay, so this one, it's just, says, I need you. Jameson knew exactly what he was doing, the way he was looking at me, the tilt of his lips. I don't know why yet, but I do. And I think it's referring to the game, but it's just like there's so many other things that could be romantic that he's referring to. So that is the quote that I am going to highlight here. And I believe I use this marker. Alright, so that one didn't space as well as I would have liked it to, but that's okay. And then we're just going to do little dashes around it. This is also very much giving Slytherin vibes, which reminds me of the age of Draco Talk. Did anyone else get stuck in Draco Talk TikTok? Because I was fully in Draco Talk TikTok, and I don't regret a single minute of it. All right, so now we are going to go through the rest of my quotes and see which ones we're gonna add into it. I think I'm gonna make these letters smaller just because I think there's a lot of good quotes in here. That is how I do the physical books. I think this looks pretty cool. Magnolia Parks is the next book that I read, and we all know that I had an insane amount of tabs and quotes for this book. I might even leave this full page for quotes and then have a summary on this page. Magnolia Parks is special, so we'll give her 2 colors. So then on the next page, I just finished Hooked, which is this book, and I gave it 5 stars. It was so good, and I did have some good quotes there, but only 1 page's worth. So I'm gonna add Hooked in with gray, I think. Okay. So that's Hooked's page. This is Magnolia Parks's page. This is the Deals page. This is the Final Gambits. Final Gambits page. And then this is gonna be Killjoy's page. I think that's all of the book journaling that I'm gonna do for right now. That's a little insight in how I do my book journal. And I know I have a lot more books to do, so we're gonna do that at a different time off camera. But yeah, that was my tour of my book journal and how I track all the books and the quotes that I read. And I will do another video maybe updating on the finished book journal because God knows I have a lot more to do. So that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and if you have a book journal, let me know because I think it's really fun to take a peek into other people's book journals. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.